HackTheFile. I'm Michael Lopez, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Enjoy. All right. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to simulate a hack that I heard on Darknet Diaries. Okay. And it's on one of these episodes this guy has. He interviewed this ex-criminal, and this guy, I guess he was a criminal, got busted. A cyber criminal, got busted, did some time, got out of jail. Basically, didn't know what to do for money, so he got back into the life, and um, you know, did some more time. I guess he's interviewing him while he's in jail or something. I don't know. And then he finally gets out, and he wants to, you know, do something with all his skills like that he amassed. And these are real life practical skills. These aren't, like what we're gonna simulate right now on Metasploit, right? I mean, but it's basically the same thing, right? If you can do it on Metasploit, then you should be able to do it out in the real world, as long as you know what you're doing, right? And so, but this guy had real world experience in hacking, and he wants to do something positive with it now, right? So I in no way condone crime or anything, so this is not why I'm putting this on here. I'm basically doing this because I want to show you. Well, I just wanted to see if I can simulate it, and I'm basically going to use books that I have, that I'm looking at right now, to see if they can simulate it with their different tools, their Kali Linux tools, that they have, right? So this one's going to be pretty interesting, right? Pretty fun. And so we're going to listen to a little bit of his story. I'm going to talk about it, and then we're going to try to simulate it, right? And then I'm going to tell you how I'm going to simulate it, and to see what he did in the real world to, as a hacker, to hack people. I'm going to simulate that with my Metasploit and my virtual machines and stuff, and it's as simple as that. And listening to his story, it sounds pretty simple. So, all right, let's start this off by listening to his story real quick, and then I'll pause it, right?
I've had so many long conversations with Cam to try to understand this whole story. And to be honest, this story took me a long time to process and understand. In between our calls, I would read through court documents and call up other people who knew him and look through the Wayback Machine at some of the websites he told me about. As far as I can tell, this story checks out just as he tells it.
Hello?
Hey, were you standing in the yard again?
Yeah. This train can still come back around.
Yeah, I will. I'm sure.
So this is after he gets out of prison for the first time. This is he got caught doing other things, and then he gets out of prison now, and this is what he does when he gets out.
A bit.
Yep.
How is it out there?
It's like 91 degrees.
Yeah, we find some shade.
I don't really remember where we left off.
So you got arrested. You lost everything, and you had an FTP server, and you were able to get into that. So, I mean, here's the thing I don't get, is you just freshly got arrested, freshly got out. Why didn't this teach you a lesson? Why didn't you stop then and say, okay, yeah, that's too dangerous. I don't want to go back to prison.
I'd already been living on my own, and at the time I needed some more money. So it was just something I could do immediately to kind of solve that problem. And also, I was just young and pretty dumb. I didn't realize exactly the extent of trouble that I was really getting myself into, I guess. Also I was doing a lot of drugs at the time, to be honest. So, and also another thing is kind of like, once you kind of make some of those connections, kind of like your reputation online, I guess, that'll kind of draw you back too sometimes. It's like you don't want to let that reputation go or something. I don't really know how to explain it, but I definitely wish that I did.
Cam had fully established himself once again. He was buying cards, cashing them out, and making money right and left. He even took it further than he did before.
Now, at that time, I wasn't doing a whole lot of it myself. I had some other people involved. I still would do things a little bit myself from time to time. You get to make more of the money if you do it yourself, but also I guess there's kind of a excitement to it or something like that that kind of goes along with it.
Cam remembered how his old operation was going well. He was able to make fake IDs and get stolen credit card data, but didn't like having to split the money he cashed out with people who gave him the stolen cards. So this time, he wanted to figure out a way to steal the credit card data himself. This would allow him to close the entire loop of his operation and maximize his profits. And Cam was figuring out new techniques. He had a goal. He wanted to steal credit card information directly from businesses who processed credit cards for customers. He had watched how others had done it before him and jumped into the game. First is to identify businesses who process credit cards. Now, he didn't want to target big businesses because they're typically more secure. If you want to keep your site from getting hacked, one thing you can do is just make it harder for criminals like Cam. It's kind of like being chased by a bear, right? You don't need to be faster than the bear, you just need to be faster than the other person who you're running with. So Cam didn't even try big businesses. Too hard, he thought. But what about small businesses, locally owned restaurants, barbershops, coffee shops, bakeries, stuff like that?
Now, think about this. In reality, okay, it doesn't matter how big the business is. So, I mean, it does, but it doesn't really matter if you're just trying to make, doing your hustle on what he was doing is he was stealing credit card information and then he was going to cash, get money out through Western Union or something. He had this scam going, and he was pulling out 1,000, 500, 200 a day off of stolen credit card information, right? Or something like that. Okay, so he had his own little hustle going on, but all he needed was the credit card information. Okay, so he's gonna get 3 credit cards from a local business or something, right? That's 3 customers they had in that whole day, or something, right? And he's gonna go try to run them, try to pull some money out. One out of those 3 might work. Might get $200, and he's gonna keep on doing that, right? That's his hustle. Okay, so if let's say you set up where there's a bunch of businesses, local businesses, they're gonna get anywhere. Restaurants, right? They're constantly have cards, okay, debit cards, credit cards. It could be a normal local restaurant, right? And it's gonna have 100 to 200 customers in one day. So kind of think about that. It doesn't really matter about how big the business is.
They might not have done a thing to secure their network,
and they don't. The average, especially right now, the average mom and pop or even like the chains don't have any security at all.
So targeting them might be easy, like grabbing low-hanging fruit.
Exactly.
He would drive around and find potential targets and go in and see if they had free Wi-Fi, and if so...
Okay, so now he's going to go through the steps, okay, and this is what we're going to simulate. So he's going through the steps on what he was looking for as a hacker, right? And the first thing he was doing was he was doing the easy ways. He was finding local businesses like McDonald's, your local gym, your local bakery. He found a barbershop that had free Wi-Fi. So you own your own business, you're cutting hair, and you're like, hey, look, everybody's giving their Wi-Fi number out. Why not give my Wi-Fi access out and let everybody sit there on their Wi-Fi while they're getting a haircut? Even everybody else is doing it. It's a terrible idea unless you are secure, right? So this is what he was doing. He was finding, once they have the Wi-Fi, they get on your network, right? That's it. If you're not secure, you're done. And this is what he was talking about.
So he'd sit down and connect to it.
One thing I do is we'd have somebody go to a business and get the public IP address if they had free Wi-Fi.
So the public IP address is OSINT. It's out there. It's free information, and you can, if somebody has free Wi-Fi and all that, you can look up their public IP address on the business, and you can get their IP address. Okay. You can also remember when you're on somebody's network, right? What else can you run? You can run Net Discover. So you can run net discover, and then it gives you the IP addresses and everybody that's on that thing, right? So there's in many ways to skin a cat.
Or something like that. Now I know that either that system or something close to it might be their processing system, you know what I mean? Because so now that IP, I'm gonna scan that whole range.
So he's gonna run an nmap scan, or he's gonna run some kind of scan, right? So he now what is that? That's a vulnerability scan. So now he's gonna run an nmap scan to see, what vulnerability, what ports are open. Okay.
Some small shops didn't separate their guest Wi-Fi traffic and their cash register system. So while inside the shop, he could scan around for all the computers on the network, find a machine that might be a cash register, and try to get into it.
Once we found like an IP range, use the nmap or something to scan and find out what open ports were there.
Now, one port in particular he was hoping that was open was 3389 RDP.
So he's looking for 3389 RDP port. That's your remote port. Okay, it's a remote port. That's a vulnerable port, especially if on the firewall you don't set it. You can set that up to where you can only, you could do a lot of stuff on your firewall. But that's another topic. But it basically you can remote into your server that has information in it or whatnot, all your register, credit card numbers and everything, right? It all goes on the server, and so it allows you as your owner to remote in from your house or anywhere that has a network, okay, anywhere that has internet, and get into your server from anywhere. That way you can, pull up information. It makes it convenient for you, right? For your business. After we go through all this, we could talk about how to make everything safe, right? But for now, we're going to look at the vulnerabilities of it all.
That's the remote desktop port. If this port was open, it meant that cash register allowed remote connections to it, probably so someone can remotely connect to it in case there's a problem with the cash register. It's a lot easier to fix it if someone can just get into it remotely versus having to send someone on site to take a look. So this is what Cam was looking for, RDP open on cash registers. And after visiting a bunch of stores, trying over and over, eventually he got into one at a barber shop. He found the computer that processed credit card transactions, then accessed the software that handled those transactions, and he grabbed all the credit card data that he could find and started copying it over to his computer.
It's a pretty exciting feeling. It's kind of just a thrill, I guess. Get on, your heart actually starting to beat a little fast or whatever, get a little nervous. There's RDP brooding tools, so you could put in, I can't remember, I think Hydra was one of them.
Ah, right, Hydra.
So he used, once he found a vulnerability in one of these businesses, which in this case was a barbershop, he found a vulnerable open port, which was RDP, using nmap vulnerability scanning tool. He then he still needed to get into the server, right? And the server was password protected, so he has to figure out how to crack the password to get into the server, okay, to use the RDP protocol, right? And there's still going to be a password. So we're going to simulate that we're going to use Hydra 2, okay, and we're going to do it on my Metasploiter, but it's the same thing. And so he basically uses that Hydra tool to crack into the RDP. What we're going to do is we're going to use, we could use RDP, I think. It depends on what vulnerabilities I find on Metasploit. And, Metasploit's got everything open. So we can actually simulate this to the T. But in the book that I'm going to reference, it hacks into FTP, so file transfer protocol, which I think is better because then you can transfer information easily from there anyways, right? So okay, so we'll just go ahead.
As a defender, I hated Hydra. It was persistent, relentless, and scary. Here's what it does. Hydra is a brute force password guessing tool. It's free. You can search for it on Google and download it and start using it in minutes. that'll try combinations of usernames and passwords to try to log into something. But on top of that, it's able to do this on remote websites or computers. So you can tell it, hey, try all the usernames and passwords on this website and see if you can get in. And Hydra will try tons of combinations of usernames and passwords on that website and then tell you if it had any successful logins. But it can also try logging into computers through RDP, the remote desktop protocol, which is exactly what Cam was doing. Once he got into a shop's network and identified the cash register and found it had RDP open, he would unleash Hydra on it and try tons of different passwords to try to log in. The default username on a lot of Windows computers is administrator, so he was trying that username first with tons of different passwords. In case you were wondering how to protect against Hydra, there are a few things. First is to lock down who can access that computer over RDP. It's never a good idea for it to be open to the whole internet. Second, make sure passwords can't be easily guessed by using long, complex passwords. Third, enable some kind of lockout mechanism or CAPTCHA to slow down or stop Hydra from being able to try a password again and again and again and again. Well, as you can imagine.
So those are some of the mitigations, right? You know, if you're in cybersecurity, if you're not in cybersecurity, if you're learning about cybersecurity, you know what mitigations means. Basically, it's just how to fix vulnerabilities, or how would you do it, right? Fancy word. So those are some of the mitigations you would use for that kind of brute force password and username hacking, right? And it's just simple. But see, the average company doesn't have a cyber or IT department, or if they have an IT department, he's just setting up the network. He's going to do basic, probably firewall, and that's it. You know, you gotta have a cyber guy come in and make your company safe, and I think that's going to be the future. Is like, you know, cyber guys and stuff. So for small businesses, that would be very lucrative. Anyways, so we're gonna stop here on this one because he just goes on that he gets the credit cards and then goes into what he does with them and stuff. But we're gonna simulate what he did so far just to get into the server to steal the information, right? So let's go to my library first, right? Go to library and we'll pull up Kali Linux. And I'm already working on this book, but at the end right here, it has exactly what he did. And I kind of looked at this and I was like, this is exactly what this guy did. So I'm going to look at this, right? And I'm not going to read it or anything. We're just going to run it based off of what he did, okay? So we're going to go into some kind of like role play. And I'm going to simulate it. I'm not going to do my usual reading this, you know, to your brain turns numb stuff, right? Even though that stuff is good for your brain anyways, but I don't know about going numb, but so we're gonna do Metasploitable 2 target system, right? So this is what he did. So it says network scanning nmap, right? So he found a business, okay? First of all, let's go back to when he got out of prison. So before he went into prison, he was hacking into these unregistered or registered servers or something, servers, free servers or whatever, and he was uploading all his stolen information there. Basically hijacked a server, and I can't remember what type of servers they were, but he hijacked some server, and he remembered the FTP, which is file transfer protocol, username and password for it, right? Or password for it. And so he did that first, and then he got into because when he went to jail, they took all his stuff, his server, they took all his stuff, you know, his money. So he thought, okay, let me see if this server's still active, right? They had all his stolen information. So long story short, he logs in. Let's do that. Okay, let's log into let's do an FTP login. So we're probably gonna, well, let's just do that. Let's follow this book because that's basically what he did first. Okay, instead of running this nmap scan now, we're gonna run net discover, okay? Because he ran this nmap scan on this IP address, on his IP address. After he got in, they're wanting us to run a scan to find just to scan the Metasploitable. But we don't know, right? What? Let's say we don't know. We just got onto the free Wi-Fi, right? So we're going to look at this Metasploitable first, right? So my Metasploitable. This is my little fake network, and we're gonna look at the MAC address. So this ends in 2DF8. Okay, 2DF8. Write that down. 2DF8. Because my brain, I don't feel like doing all this today too much. So 2DF8. I mean, memorizing MAC addresses and shit. Now let's go to my Kali box, right? I'm gonna make this clear and simple. So, if I can, so I just found a business that I want to try to hack, right? And I want to see if they have any vulnerabilities. So the first thing, and they have free Wi-Fi. Okay, this is easy. So I'm gonna come on here, and he looked up the local IP address for that business. Now we could do that too, but I don't have a fake business, right? So I won't be able to simulate that. But he could have gone into the free Wi-Fi and ran Net Discover from his Kali box, right? So we're gonna do that, right? And this is just a simple. It's just a different way on getting the IP. So okay. So now, so we simulated that, right? Except he did the OSINT way and looked it up, and I just used Net Discover. So now, so we're running. Let's go to what was the Metasploitable IP MAC? It was 2DF8, right? So this is my MAC address. After that, okay, I'll grab my MAC address. This IP address right here, right? This is my MAC address. Yeah, this is the Metasploitable, right? Because the MAC address was 2DF8. We already know the two. Now you're not gonna know what they are, right? When you do if somebody did a Net Discover on a business, that's why you'll get all the ranges. At least you'll have a range, right? And then you can then you use nmap to scan the range of all the IP addresses that come up, and then you'll find vulnerabilities and stuff like that. And then you'd have to sort through, which one is the business, or that's when you go to your business. What he did, we used the OSINT tools to get the local IP address. Then that's what you would do, right? Then you would do that, and then you'd be like, okay, so this is the business's IP address. Or you could just run a vulnerability scan on the whole range and then find which one is, and then just get lucky, right? Anyway, so there's many ways to skin that cat, but I already have the IP address here, right? Okay, so now what is the next thing he did? So once he had the IP address, which I have it, then he basically ran an nmap scan on it to see what was vulnerable, right? And that's what we're gonna do next. So let's go to here. So we're gonna run this nmap scan, right? And we're gonna do nmap svp all this good stuff. Now I don't know if I need to do all that. You just run a real basic nmap scan and all this come up. So, but we'll run this like this, okay? So, and all that stuff means certain things, right? Man, it's hot. Summertime. So, nmap SV. Is it little p, big p? It's a little s, big V, little p. Oh crap. Man, we're gonna put this IP right here. Man, let's make sure that's right. So, and you need that other little dash right there on that P. So he ran an nmap scan. Okay, so we'll do this. Okay, right. All right, so now we're running the nmap vulnerability scan. And that's on my Metasploitable machine. Hopefully it's running. Yeah, that sucker's running. Okay. I don't think I needed to grab all this stuff. I just ran a basic scan. I don't know why this is just grabbing the version and all kinds of stuff. Alright, I canceled that first scan. Had too much, it was taking too long, I had too much information, so I just ran a basic nmap scan on that IP address. Since it's my Metasploitable, it doesn't matter. Probably want to do this out in the field or whatever if you're, whatever. He most likely ran an nmap scan that had more detail to it. But a basic nmap scan on my Metasploitable, it simulates it because all we're doing is we're running them to see what ports are open, okay? And I ran it, and so now this FTP is what we're going to take advantage of. Now he did RDP, right? The remote desktop protocol port or whatever, but I'm not going to do that because I don't see it that it's open, right? I said it was port 33 something. Now I can run a port range on nmap, and I can actually find that, see if it's open. But I'm not gonna do all that. I mean, that's something if you're looking for that. But FTP should suffice for simulating using Hydra to crack the password of it. Okay, so it says that the FTP is open, and then the book shows FTP. So it's the same thing. We're simulating using Hydra, not the scan or the protocol, right? Any protocol would be all right to hack. So after he found RDP, in our case, it's going to be FTP. Now he's found a vulnerability in that bakery shop, right? Because he got the IP address through OSINT, right? Sitting down on their free Wi-Fi and logging into their network. It's as simple as that, right? And it seems like it's, when you listen to the story, you're like, man, he's a hacker, and that's hard. If you know a little bit about all these tools and stuff. It's not hard putting it all together, right? And what you're doing is you're hacking people that are vulnerable. They have no idea what their systems are doing and what ports are open or nothing like that. They have no idea about anything about cybersecurity. That's why he was attacking small businesses, because big companies have securities on all this, right? Small companies most likely won't. Okay, and so now we simulated him getting the vulnerability. In this case, we're going to use FTP. But FTP has a password. Now, I recommend using passwords that are like phrases. They've got uppercase, lowercase, symbols, numbers, letters, and they're at least 15 to 18 characters long. Now, you say, oh, man, how am I going to remember all those? That's ridiculous. Well, you're going to have to figure it out, because if you have passwords that are short, let's say 8 characters, and you're using all that stuff, you can still be hacked by Hydra or Jack the Ripper or whatnot, because they're running millions of calculations, or thousands per second or whatever. I don't know how many, but they're running different passwords and usernames per second, okay, and different variations of it. And so you're gonna want to have better passwords. So now we're like, okay, we've got access to FTP, but it's saying enter your username and password. Obviously, he doesn't know the baker's username and password for the FTP, right? So we're going to use Hydra, and in this book it shows you how to use Hydra. So, all right, let us crack the FTP password by using Hydra. The first set is to create a username.txt file and save it to the desktop. In the file, include the following names: admin, username, default, password, root, admin, password, username. Okay, so this was going to be a username.txt. Okay, I'm going to save it on the desktop. So let's close this. So I'm going to say username.txt, right? We're going to create that. So now this is, oh, wait a minute. That's not what we wanted. We wanted a file, right? Create folder. Wait a minute. Did he say create a... Oh, yeah, he did say a text file. Okay, they did say a text file, so... we could open this with cherry tree. Yeah. We can probably use note. What the hell's note at? I'm just trying to find the. I mean, you can use a command and throw it in there, but I don't know if you guys are gonna know all that. So I'm trying to find note. Note. Is it note? Pad. Yeah, this is the beauty of of troubleshooting this crap. What the fudge? Clipboard. I'll use clipboard. Create. Man, it's summer. It is hot. It's crap. Oh man. You didn't know crap could get hot, did you? Oh yeah. It comes out steaming. Okay, this is for pad. Yeah, let's use text editor. That should work. Okay, so text editor. Alright, so what the hell did it want me to put in there? So admin, these are all okay, so I'm gonna move this so I can read it, follow it exactly. So admin, username, default, password. Now these are all, you guessed it, like basic usernames that people use. You should never do that. Now, if you're targeting somebody, and this is the beauty of this Hydra. So if you're targeting somebody, right, and let's say you do OSINT on them and the business or whatnot, and you find vulnerabilities in their system, I'm just saying, okay, and you can use this to enter in all the information in their username. So let's say their name is Carol, or let's say you're white hat hacking or something, and then the business is for a ski company. You're gonna enter in right here. You're gonna enter in the name. You're gonna put like a ski jump, right? Carol, stuff like that, and it's gonna run these, and you can tailor make this file that it's gonna run, right? All right, let's open this back up and see what. Yeah, so those are gonna be our what the usernames it's gonna try: ski jump, Carol, username root. Now assuming this is, now we're just setting this up for Hydra, right? Passwords.txt. So let's do passwords.txt. So we're gonna create another document. Passwords.txt. Words.txt. Yeah, let's do that lowercase because it shows lowercase, right? It can be anything. I want to open that. It should open to a text editor like right away. Oh no, that's true. There you go. Text editor. Okay, now it wants us to enter in. So now it wants us to enter in password, include the following passwords. So admin, FTP. It's the same thing. These are all just, Metasploitable is easy to hack, right? It's gonna be, the whole point is to hack into it. FTP, username, pass, demo, pass, root. And then let's say I'm like, all right, I'm targeting this company, and I looked on his Instagram, and he loves his dog. I mean, he's just fanatic about his dog, and his dog's name is Rover, right? He works at. I mean, he went to college. He went to ISU. You know, you can add those in there, and it'll run those in different variations. All right, let's save that. And that's all what's cool about Hydra. You can do OSINT and just tailor make your brute force passing. And if you've watched uh, Mr. Robot, there's a scene where he uses I think he uses Hydra, or he uses some kind of, I'm pretty sure it was Hydra. He uses a password cracking tool on this guy that he's trying to hack his Facebook or something, and he's like, man, I know this guy's dog's name, I know his girlfriend's name, I know where he went to college, I know what year he graduated, so he enters in all that information, and then he runs the password crack, right? So that's basically what's cool about Hydra. You can do reconnaissance on this individual. It's simple. It's as simple as that. It's not hard, right? Common sense. You're adding more stuff for your program to run in combinations to, and then the average person is going to use something in their life they can remember easily, like the year they graduated school, what their title is, at work, and all that stuff. The more you can sit there for about 30 minutes entering in all the information you gathered on this company, if you're hacking into them, and then you can use that, and then you might be able to get in, or somebody you're targeting or something like that, right? So give me 1 second. All right, let's see where we left off. All right, so we ran the scan, set up the password. Username, set up the password file, file, and now here's the command to run Hydra. And we're gonna copy this one. So you can probably pause the video or whatever you want to do, but and he actually remotes into using FTP. So we're gonna do all that too. So now let's run Hydra. Usernames, and you can run the password. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, so I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna run the Hydra on that Metasploit server. So now I'm simulating him using Hydra, and he was trying to hack the username and password to the RDP, but I'm going to do FTP because it's in the book. It's the same thing. They're different protocols. Okay, so let's go to another command line. Okay, let's just run that. So Hydra minus L. And this little squiggly line right here is your home. So that's just saying your home / desktop. I mean, what I can do is, well, I'm just gonna do like the book says. I could open up a terminal on my desktop. I'm just gonna do it like this. grab that IP address again. This is the Metasploitable IP address. FTP port 21 is open. So we're gonna put, what the crap? I can't stand it. Oh, what did I do? That's weird. There it is. Now we're exploiting FTP, right? So we have to put FTP at the end. I'm sure that if it was RDP, you'd put RDP at the end. I probably could put RDP because I bet you that. Man, I didn't show that it was open, but so this goes Hydra L wherever your password text is, right, on your Kali box. So the little squiggly is your home desktop user. P, I'm sure this is doing your password. So like username, whatever, password. I don't know how to use Hydra, but I've never used it actually. At least I don't remember using it. And this home desktop password.txt. So it's going to look in both of these files on this IP address, and we're going to use FTP. See what happens. Oh, see, so I spelled it wrong. See, I got an error because I spelled desktop wrong. Right. Put desktop. Man. Desktop usernames. Desktop. Usernames. So let's see what we named it. Username passwords. There you go. So this gives you the date it starts. Data max 16 tasks per one server, overall 16 tasks, 224 login tries, 14 tries per task. Attacking FTP 192.168. So it's going to attack it, and it's going to tell me if it is successful. Right now, I don't know what this. Oh, there you go. So now Hydra. Oh, look, one of one target successfully completed. 19 valid passwords are found. Hydra finished. Okay. So FTP, login is FTP, password admin. Wait, what did it say? One of one target successfully. 19 valid passwords. So these are all valid or what? Does it tell you all the ones that are valid? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. It says one of one target successfully completed though. What's the one of one? Anyways, so it told you it was going to try 15 tasks per one server, overall 16 tasks, 224 login tries. And it attacked it, brute forced it. It found one successful. Wait, it says one out of one target successfully completed. Anyways, let's read. Hydra will start the cracking process using the list of username and passwords contained in the word list. From the above screenshot, we can see that the tool found 17 passwords, in my case 19, in Metasploit 2. It is acceptable to use FTP lowercase or upper as username and any other password. And any other password. To test whether the credentials are correct, let's try to connect to the FTP Metasploit 2. So now if we go back to this guy, we're gonna listen.
This worked on the barbershop that Cam had access to. Hydra tried a bunch of passwords and eventually found one that worked. Cam used that password to log into the cash register computer of a barbershop. Then he started looking around for the credit card details of the customers.
So he cracked the password because the company used probably easy passwords, right? And he most likely used these too, right? Now, there's lists of like you can get a text file and you can create a list. Most common usernames and passwords for RDP, right? Hackers have already compiled these lists and these .text files that you can download, you can get, you can create them yourself. I mean, they're fully customizable, as you can see what I did. I can go in and change my Metasploitable password to something, different, and I can add it in here with just a different variation, and it will, after a while, it will crack it, and it'll show me because I have it in this file and it's going to try it. So let's say my password in Metasploitable is doggy dog 1574. That's my password. In my password file, I'll put like doggy dog because that's my dog's name, right, or something. Somebody ran reconnaissance on me and found out I love my dog, right? His name's Doggy Dog, and I found out the day he was born, right, or whatever, or my address. I would put Doggy Dog 542, Doggy Dog 123. And eventually it will try so many variations that it'll crack that password, right? Okay, so let's go here, and what he did was once he cracked the password using Hydra, and I mean that was easy. I mean, it seems like it's just, you know, you don't realize how easy it is, but it's just that easy. And we simulated basically what he did. Right? He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything spectacular. This is all he did was run a scan. He picked a place, looked up the IP address, ran a scan with nmap, found some vulnerabilities. He hacked into one of the ports, and that's what we did. We used FTP though instead, file transfer protocol, which is just as good. And he ran Hydra to crack it to get in, and then he did some other stuff that we're not going to go into. It's more criminal stuff, and well, it's more other stuff that I don't want to get into. But he got into the server that he thought that contained all the credit card info that he wanted to steal. And that's what we did. We're gonna try now, instead of RDP, we're gonna use file transfer protocol from our box, right? From my hacking box. I'm gonna use it since I'm gonna try some of these passwords and usernames to get in, right? FTP, so I can use lowercase any one of these, and I can use any one of these passwords. Gonna get me in apparently. Rover. So I guess the password doesn't have any passwords. Oh, but wait, Carol. Was Carol in here? No. Anyway, so now let's do. I think in the book it wants us to make sure it's installed. So app install FTP. We're gonna app install FTP. Man, I got this like shining. Oh, we got to use sudo. So sudo app install FTP. Okay. All right, so that's updated. I got FTP on here, so it was already on there. It's because 0 upgraded, 0 installed. So in other words, it was already on here. Guess it's not required anymore. Auto remove. Okay, so now we're gonna do FTP now. So to use FTP, just like SSH, right? You're gonna this one actually has SSH next. This is actually a really good chapter. I mean, this is so basic, but as you can see, people actually use it to hack into your system, right? So, I mean, it's relevant till this day, right? That's not an old podcast. So now we're going to do FTP, and then we've got the IP address right here, right? All right. Now, it wants the name. Oh, wait a minute. FTP? Yeah. Now, special. So the name is the username, right? And we can use lowercase FTP or uppercase FTP, right? And then your password, we're just going to put FTP lowercase. So now I can use binary mode to transfer files. So now I'm in FTP in there, right? In my Metasploitable over from the cafe. And I can be anywhere that has Wi-Fi. I can be sitting from my home, log into the internet, put in the IP, and I'm in. So let us try to connect to FTP of my machine, which in this case is the bakery shop that guy targeted, right? We're simulating it. Open the terminal, install FTP. Okay, yeah, blah, blah. Once installed, do that. Username, password above. This allows you to connect to Metasploitable machine via FTP to upload and download files from the computer. Now, he used some kind of remote control, right? Where I guess you can upload and download too, but you can upload and download from file transfer protocol too. So it's the same thing. He used a different protocol. It's the same kind of protocol. Okay. So now, right? We'll go here. Man, where's my? Okay. Anyway, so now we're in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a list, right? Oh, actually, so you have to know how to use FTP. Type in help. So I could do ls. So I went down the rabbit hole with this FTP, which that wasn't the whole point of the video. Mine is not working. I keep when I enter ls, I keep getting this, and I Google, how we do, right, on this channel. You come into a roadblock and you can't figure something out. You have to, copy this whole thing right here, entering this, here comes that, and then put it into Google and see if they came up, to see if somebody else came up with, a solution to why this is not showing my directory. Another thing you can do is check your Metasploitable to make sure that it's functioning properly or something like that. Make sure you even have any files in that directory, which I do. And check YouTube and all that stuff. And then I went down the rabbit hole. I came up with some kind of solution, but not really. And I'm not going to spend time on it because I'm not actually trying to retrieve files or transfer any files to this Metasploitable. I'm just showing. I was simulating what the hacker guy did, and basically he used RDP anyways. He didn't use FTP. He used RDP. What we can do really quick, which I think might be pretty cool, is let's exit out of this. I think it's exit or buy. Yeah, exit. What we can do, which I think is pretty cool, is we can go here, right? And we can, instead of putting FTP, we can do RDP. Let's see if that. Yeah, so it's not active, right? So RDP account might be valid, but account not active. And we continue to attack an account. So it tried, and it's like, okay, RDP is not active on this Metasploitable server, and it wasn't when we looked up the ports, right? Let's try this one. Maybe this matters. Nope. See, so yeah, so it's not active. That's why it didn't show up. But anyways, everything worked. So we ran an nmap scan, which gave us our vulnerabilities, right? I don't know where that was. We ran Hydra, cracked the passwords. So we basically simulated what this guy did. And this guy was an actual criminal, right? Now, like I said, this is HackTheFile, so we're gonna do some hacking on here. Don't do this stuff out in the wild. And if you do, you're gonna end up like this guy. He was in prison. So, that's my message for you. But if you want to prevent this kind of stuff, how do we go by doing this? Okay. The guy already mentioned in the video that stronger passwords will prevent Hydra from hacking, brute forcing it, because it can only run so many calculations at once. So if you have a long phrase password, it's going to take it years. I'm talking about if you've got like lowercase, uppercase letters, numbers, and all that, symbols and all that in your stuff, and you've got like 18 characters, it's going to take it billions of years. Okay. Because it just can't do that many calculations and try that many variations. But if it's under 10 characters and it's got all that stuff, it might only take it like 10 days, right? So if somebody really wants to hack into your stuff, they'll leave it running for 10 days. If you're a target, right? Let's say you're a serious target. If you're like this guy and you're just trying to make some quick money and add your credit card or since your PII to his criminal organization and make some quick money, he's gonna move on. You can't crack your stuff. He's gonna move on to the next guy. So I mean, it's as simple as that. Another thing is, if you're gonna have Wi-Fi, you need to have it separated. What he was saying, separated from your servers, right? From your cash register servers, right? Which I think is a no-brainer, right? But if you want to log in or remote into your server, you want that capability. You have to have user restrictions, long passwords, stuff like that, right? That only you can log in from your IP or something like that. Never set up a firewall like that for that kind of stuff. But um, anyways, so there's a lot of things you can do, right? Small businesses can do to protect themselves from this kind of attack, and but it's a real attack. You're listening to the video. You know, this guy is in prison for it, got caught, and but not for this. He got caught for something else. But this is how he started. This is how you start. He's like he said, it was like a thrill. He's hacking in, and he's actually a hacker, and he's hacking in, and he's making money, right? So, I mean, this is an actual situation. So we just basically, I would say, simulated it to the T, except for the RDP protocol, which it wasn't available on my Metasploit anyways. I mean, it wasn't open. We tried and it wasn't valid. Um, but that's what he was looking for specifically. And the open source OSINT getting of the IP address. So basically, what we did was we ran a net discover once we were on the free Wi-Fi, and you could just enter in all the IP addresses that you have into Whois, and then it'll tell you who that is. They'll say, "Oh, this is this is that," and then the one that says, the bakery shop, or it's registered with this on this day or whatever. There's ways you can find out what IP addresses are IP addresses. Whois is one of them. I think there's like a American Register Association. I don't know, but anyways, that's easy too. Find out what IP addresses that do what on there, right? So it's not hard to simulate these guys' hacking, criminal hacks of what they're doing, right? And this guy, apparently he wasn't always into hacking. He was just always curious, and one thing led to another, and he started just learning and learning and learning and learning and learning and trying different things, and that's how he got into the business of crime and hacking. Black hat hacker is what he was. So I don't know, it was just something different for this video. I thought it'd be interesting to simulate actual crimes and actual hacks, and I think I did pretty good on this one. You guys let me know if I was off or if I was wrong, but I think I simulated it pretty damn good. So, but I did it in my safe environment. That's the key to it. You know what I mean? Now, if I needed to protect against this, I would have some kind of knowledge of what they do on their side, right? And that's the benefit of making these videos for me. I love doing these videos because I learn, right? And I've got to get on there and learn how to do FTP again. I forgot, right? But my FTP is broken or something. It wasn't wasn't working. I was trying to look at the list, and so nothing was showing up. But in a real world scenario, I would, if I got on the FTP, I would check the list to see what's in the directory. Then I would open those up or download all the files, send it back to me, and then look at them and see what I got. What goodies I have. So yeah, that was HackTheFile, and I really had fun. I thought this was a really cool, interesting video. So if you guys did, like and subscribe, and we'll make some more kind of like this.